Hi everyone. Now we will start another part of a HPLC. Okay. So in the last part we have seen the solvent delivery system. Now we will see the types of a solvent delivery system. So here there are two types of a solvent system. First one is a isocratic and another one is a gradient dilution. So isocratic. So here we can understand with the term iso. Iso means same. Okay, and cratic is a cratic means related to the your mobile phase. And here the during the separation your solvent composition will be same in a isocratic dilution. And gradient dilution means there is a difference in the composition of a solvent during the separation of a compound mixture in a HPLC separation. So here we will see with this picture we will see the separation of a compound mixture through the isocratic and gradient dilution. So here we can see that as we increase the time, the solvent composition, solvent composition is same, and here we can see the peaks in a isocratic illusion. Okay, and here suppose if you will want to see the separation of compound mixture, so here the with increase in time, so here we can see there is a increase in the composition of a solvent, or generally in gradient we will take two solvent or three solvent. Okay, mixture of two solvent or three solvent, and the one solvent composition is changing with the time. So here we will see the difference in an isocratic illusion and a gradient illusion. Here the retention time for the particular compound that has been separated from the column is more. Okay, when we will use a isocratic illusion, the two compounds get separated, okay, and near to each other. So here we can also see, suppose here if there are like A to F compound mixture are present into the sample, and we injected into the column and run an isocratic system. Then here we can see some of the compounds, okay, not properly separated or not resolved. Okay, and when we run gradient illusion, where the composition of a solvent change with the time, here we can see the resolution of all the compound mixture. Okay, so this is a advantage of a gradient compared to the isocratic system. So here the summary of this both the illusion. First, what is the advantage? What is the advantage and disadvantage of both illusion? Gradient, it requires less time for analysis of your compound mixture, and also the resolution. Okay, so these are the advantage and disadvantage of a isocratic and gradient illusion. And another part is a pump. Okay, so the function of pump is to push the solvent into the column. Okay, and generally there are two types of a pump: syringe type and a reciprocating pump. Okay, and mostly this reciprocating pump is used in a HPLC, and we should know some of the parameters in a reciprocating pump. So it should have a constant flow, and this reciprocating pump is used in a gradient illusion, and it should be pulse free. Pulse free means that a solvent will flow in a particular velocity. Okay, it should not be changed with the time, because it will cause the separation of compound mixture or resolution of a peaks, okay, from the column. And sample injection system, we have a septum injector and a staff flow injector and a rheodyne injector. Okay, and generally in a HPLC we will use this type of injection system, Rheodyne. So these three system can be used, but nowadays Rheodyne injector system is used in a HPLC. So in which like 2 microliter to 50 microliter volume of samples, and it has a 2 modes. So generally we have a load position and a inject position. So in load position, when we will inject your sample, okay, it goes to the waste. Okay, it will goes to the waste. So I think you have seen during your experiment. Okay, then if we want to, because the goal is to that sample should be the injected sample should be passed through the column. Then we will change the mode. Okay, we will put into the inject mode. Now your sample will goes to the column. Okay, now you are after going to the column, it will be get separated. So this is another view of a load position and a inject position. So in load position, when you inject your sample, so it will go to the waste. You should know. Okay, it will go to waste or vent. VENT, vent. Okay, that waste is also called vent. So that maybe like this type of question can be arised, objective type question. Okay, in the load position, sample is goes to the vent or waste. Okay, when you will keep inject position, so this is a inject position. Now your chemical substance, okay, goes to the column for a separation. Okay, separation of your compound mixture. So these are the different points in the sample injection system. Okay, generally we can use inject our sample, liquid sample, and generally the samples that should be injected into the HPLC should be in liquid and 0.5 to 500 microliter. Okay, and sample loop is a 1 to 100 microliter. Okay, reproducibility is 0.1%, and pressure is a greater than 7,000, less than 7,000 psi, and so this is the auto sampler, controlled temperature environment. Then column. So column, there are 2 types of column. Okay, so first one is the analytical column, or that is also called as a main column, and we have a guard column. So generally the length of column is 5 to 100 centimeter, and diameter is 3 to 5 mm, and okay, and that theoretical plate, okay, 40,000 to 70,000 plates per height. And we have a guard column, and the function of a guard column is to remove impurities, okay, that present in the samples. So, and it will increase the life of a analytical column, because the cost of analytical column is a very expensive. Then these are the different these are the image of different column. So this is I think 5 centimeter, okay, and that may be 100 centimeter, okay, and their packing materials are different, and diameter, the diameter of particle is different, okay, and also the different packing materials is used for the separation of different types of compound. Okay, so these are the column packing material. First we will pack with the silica or aluminum. Okay, so these are the inert material, okay, on which this type of a compound, okay, C18 means that having a carbon change. Okay, 18 carbon, 8 carbon, 4 carbon, on which like amino group or cyanide group or phenyl group are present. Okay, and so these are the different functional group that present on the stationary phase. Okay, and used for the separation of a different compound. So these are the different particle size, Then pore size of the column is a 60 to 300 instance surface area, because you know that here the surface area is also an important factor, okay, that will cause the separation of a compound mixture. So this is again cross view of a column. Okay, suppose this is a cross view of a two particles between. If you want to see the cross view of the two particles, so in one particle you can see, okay, the hydrophobic groups, okay, hydrophobic groups attached to the silica. Here silica is a inert surface, okay, inert surface, it will not take part in the separation of your compound mixture, okay. So this is a single particle in the stationary phase. If you want to see the cross view of your single particle, so in this way we can see through microscope, okay. So this is a tree column, guard column, and the function of so this is a guard column and this is a main column, okay, and the function of column is to remove impurity from either solvent or your sample. Then first we will see the detector. So there are like several detectors are used, and the function of a different detector is a different for a detection of a because the compound having a different property, okay, different property. So for those we need a different types of detector, and also the different detector having a different sensitivity, selectivity, and okay. So here first one is a refractive index detector. So and UV detector, fluorescent detector, ECD, IR detector, and a mass spectrometer, and based on that one we have a LCMS. Okay. So in refractive index detector, generally the refractive index, okay, difference in the sample and a blend is determined in the refractive, because the light, okay, the light has a property of a like reflection, scattering. So here refractive index, okay, of the light is calculated with the blend solution, and we have a UV detector. So UV detector, suppose we have injected our sample, and finally after the separation, so your compound mixture, okay, your compound mixture, like suppose compound A, compound B, compound C, compound D, okay, is coming into this UV detector, okay, through UV detector. So we know that a UV detector having a electronic transition. So different organic compound, almost maximum organic compound having a electronic transition, okay, and based on that electronic transition the compound is detected, okay, and we can detect 1 picogram, okay, of a compound in a UV detector. So this is the working principle of a UV visible detector. And like if your compound, okay, if your compound having a fluorescence property, okay, fluorescence property, so we can detect those type of compounds, okay, and that fluorescence is the particular compound will give a fluorescence light, and that will be detected based on a fluorescence detector. And we have an electrochemical detector, and suppose so this will increase the sensitivity as well as a selectivity, because the compound this is for the compound which is a electroactive. Electroactive means that having a oxidation or a reduction property. So here we can see, okay, suppose your compound is coming from the column one by one, okay, and we have a working electrode, and as we know, on the working electrode your compound will get oxidized or reduced, and based on that one we will get a signal, okay. So in this way this electrochemical detector is used for detection of compound in a HPLC, okay, and we can use working electrode, platinum, gold, or a carbon. Then IR detector. So generally HPLC is good for a separation of a compound mixture or detection of organic compound. And you know that all the organic compound having a functional group, okay, and that functional group give a IR bands, okay, IR bands for a particular compound. So in this way we can determine the functional group or the compound separation of compound based on a IR detection. Another one is a mass spectrometer. So we will see in details, okay, in a coming class. Then recorder, we have types of HPLC. So we have two types of HPLC. Suppose if you want to separate your compound in HPLC, so generally we can separate either through a normal phase chromatography. So normal phase chromatography, we must know that a mobile phase is a non-polar, okay, and stationary phase is a polar, and this is good for a polar analyte, okay. Next one is a reverse phase. So generally in reverse phase we will use opposite of a normal phase. So where we will use polar mobile phase and a non-polar stationary phase, and this is a universal chromatography. Generally most 95% or 99% people using this reverse phase chromatography in a HPLC. Then in normal phase chromatography, so phase taking low polarity solvent, non-polar compounds is used first, followed by increasing. And these are the, so in reverse phase or normal phase we should know the order of polarity of a organic solvent. So these are these are the order of a organic solvent. So hexane is most polar, dichloromethane, isopropanol, propanol, and methanol. So here in a normal phase chromatography we will use hexane as a non-polar solvent, okay. Then here we can again see generally in normal phase chromatography silica or alumina, because these are a most polar compound, and if we will pack this material into the column, so it is a most polar, okay. So here the separation of compound mixture components dilute in a increasing order of a polarity. So the because this is a most polar, so the most polar compound will highly bind with this adsorbent. So if it will be tightly bound, so it will be elute last, okay, okay. So or we can see the least non-polar solute will elute out first, followed by the more polar solute, okay. So we can see, suppose these are the order of a separation of a compound. So that blue color showing a most polar compound. So that is a tightly bound with the stationary phase. The red color is a least polar we can see. Okay, least polar compounds elute out first. So if you want to see the again cross view of a stationary phase, so generally the stationary phase capped with this type of a silanol compound, and these are highly polar, okay, and we can separate different polar compounds from this. Suppose so these are the different compounds, okay, it's like 1 to 3 class of compounds in terms of polarity, okay, in terms of polarity. This is a more polar, then this is a more polar, then less polar, then this is again least polar, okay. And if you want to see in terms of a non-polarity, so this is a least non-polar, okay. So then again this is the second class of compound, this is the third class of compound, this is the fourth class of compound. And if you want to see the order of separation of compound in a HPLC, so here we can see this is a most polar and this is the least polar. So the most polar compound will Okay, so this is a most polar and this is the least polar. So the least polar compound will elute out first, followed by the more polar compound. Okay, so this is the separation of different class of compound in a HPLC. Okay. Then another one is a reverse phase chromatography. That is the opposite of क्या होगा टाइम हो गया
इसको नेक्स्ट वीडियो
अरे लेकिन टाइम नहीं है ना मतलब